So you've had a good amount of businesses in different. So you've started an agency, product-based businesses, software as a service. What do you think is the best business model, especially for younger entrepreneurs, or is there a business
Yeah.
model?
Okay, I've had so many more businesses fail that have worked. Like, there's so many that I left out. And of course, the story, we talk about highlights a lot of the times. There's no such thing. I feel like there's businesses that are easier in nature. Like, yeah, don't go set up a health tech company where you got to have like a million different certifications and all these things, and you need millions of dollars up front to pay for those FDA approved. Don't do something like that. What I usually suggest if you're trying to do something and trying to learn and build up a book of business and some cash and get yourself going is do a service-based business. It doesn't require anything up front in most cases. Whether that's lawn mowing, where it's a couple $100 up front, or like what I did, a website development business. Everybody's online. They need websites. Like, it requires what up front? Nothing. You can sell it and then deliver the service. Drop shipping. Drop shipping still works. People like, you gotta understand, there's a demand for a product. All drop shipping is people are buying it before you order it. Like, you can put together an amazing landing page and run it on TikTok Shop, and that still works too. It's not like what you do as your first thing. Ideally, try to do something where you don't have to put anything in up front, because realistically, you're learning a lot. You might realize it's not for you. You don't want to have all your money tied up in it. So an agency, or like an online store where you're drop shipping, not purchasing so much inventory, then testing products. And all these things you can kind of build into very legitimate, strong businesses after time. Dropshipping can grow into an actual brand where then you are buying inventory and you are making sure the quality is top tier. An agency, from cold calling and kind of getting people to like outsourcing the delivery, you can eventually bring an in-house team. And there's all these other ways to legitimize it. But one thing that I would not do is go after fast, easy money, or things that where people are like, you make you a millionaire in a month. No, don't do none of that. Like, and a lot of things that people fall into when it comes to that, they think if they go trading, forex, crypto, they can make fast money. You can make a lot of money in these industries, but there's no such thing as fast and easy money. There's just not. You got to build. It's like a foundation. You build your knowledge, you learn, you make mistakes, you fail, you learn, you get back up. That's the only way you're going to make money. Some people might get lucky. They able to do it faster. Some people might have good opportunities. They might have a better pathway. Some people might have it harder. But it comes down to the same principles. Like, if I were to start from scratch, and every time I have started from scratch, each business gets to revenue and a higher valuation faster than the last. Because I am moving on to next businesses with what I have known, what I have learned from the last business. This business, I was able to raise over 6 figures in 3 days for the company. Last business took me months and months and months. It took me 3 days to raise over 6 figures of capital from outside investors for this company. I'm assuming next time's gonna be a little easier, right? Like, it's like the things that I'm carrying over, the lessons learned. That's the big thing.
So even if you're failing the business, you don't make any money off of it. You learn so much that.
Not always. You have to make sure you're learning something. Some people, like, they'll fail a business and be like, "No, the business was messed." No, try to understand where you messed up.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
And then you figure out what you learn, and then
exactly.
you keep going and apply what you learn in the next business, and you'll do better.
I don't think there's such like a thing as really having a loss in business.
Yeah.
You're always learning. You're taking something away. The only way you lose is if you like don't take anything away and you just like are like beat yourself up about the fact that it didn't work. I like the philosophy: fail fast, find out what doesn't work, so you can keep trying to figure out what does work. Yeah.
I think as far as like online business or just business in general these days goes, a lot of the problems that entrepreneurs have is because everyone, or I don't know if it really is, or if everyone just believes that everything is oversaturated. Like when you hear about dropshipping agency, because a lot of times the local business that you're reaching out to has already been reached out by so many other agencies that it's hard for you to create value at time. Would you agree with that?
I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Like, there's a lot of gas stations. There's a lot of grocery stores. There's a lot of stores on TikTok. Like, there's a lot of products on TikTok.
Do you think it's more about, like, even if it's oversaturated, it's about the amount of value that you're providing? If you're providing more value than the other agency,
I don't think
then
it's
you'll be able
necessarily
to.
value. I think it's perceived value. Like, okay, you go to a store, man, and you're trying to pick out a soda. There's like 1,000 options. At least like 50 options. Okay. Now it comes down to what you like, what flavor, but it really comes down to what catches your eye and what seems appealing. Yeah, you could say the soda aisle is saturated. You could, the best example, Liquidette, the water. You don't think water's saturated? You don't think there's a lot of water brands? These dudes came in here with new packaging, made it look cool so you can actually drink water while you're out with your friends and at least look like you're drinking something else. You can go to a bar and drink water and not feel lame. It was complete packaging. It's water.
It's all branding.
It's all water. Like, yeah, I get it. It's a little different, but it's all branding. They were, if somebody could stand out in the market of water, and they did this recently, dude, you can stand out in anything. An agency, yo, forget the whole full service agency. I did that. We were a full service agency, but really we niched down on two things. You think agency space is saturated? Cool, maybe it is. But how many people do you think are in the business of taking, like Hormozy style, gym owners 10 to 10x their sales in this amount of time? Like, you give no-brainer offers to a very specific audience, and it's not going to be as saturated anymore. Like, you know, you got to niche down. Like, the idea of an agency, yeah, there's a lot of them. But how many agencies, like I said, are working with only gym owners, and they're only trying to get them from anyone that's at 10,000, they'll get them to 100,000. And they'll do that in 3 months, and it costs blank. Like, that specific of an offer is not saturated.
So what Hormozy calls this is one product, one avatar, one channel. Sell one thing, sell it to one avatar. So you said $10,000, gym owners that are making $10,000 to $100,000. And then one channel, so cold calling, cold emailing, stick to that, stick to the 1-1-1 rule.
It gets not saturated really fast.
Yeah, exactly.
It gets very niche very fast.
So what other advice would you give, or would you walk like a young entrepreneur wants to start a business? What would be the step-by-step approach that you would take? Like, what would be the first the idea pops up in your head?
Yeah, the first thing I would ask them is, what do you do? What like innate abilities do you have that gives you an edge over somebody else? Like, what makes you stand out? Like, for me, for example, I love talking to people. I love sales. I'm comfortable with talking to people. I'm comfortable with walking up to people and starting a conversation. That gives me an edge over everyone else that's shy or that's not, you know, like insecure, or I don't like using that word, but like that is not comfortable with going up to people and just starting a conversation. So of course, if I want to start a business, I know I can do something really well on the sales side, or I can do something on that side. Another thing, I'm like really good when it comes to like, see, then again, like what I was going to say was building this and that, but these are all learned skills on YouTube. So it really comes down to like your comfort level with certain things. Do you know that you have a knack or an edge on something that not everybody does? I would start there. And now with that, you need to assemble a team. Yes, if you go alone, you can go fast. If you go together, you can go far. You go far together. You go fast alone. So assemble a team that kind of takes care of your weaknesses. I've never been super technical. I don't know how to code. I more understand when it comes to talking to people, marketing, messaging, things of that nature, less of the technical product building side. I can lead that, but I can't do it myself. So whenever I have a co-founder, somebody on the technical side, they fill what I can't, and everything else we hire for. So really, yeah, understand where you have a knack or an edge on something, and just try things. Like straight up, I would say start an agency. Like I would recommend, it was my path. An agency allows you to explore other people's businesses and learn about their businesses without having to dive in and start that business. When I had my agency, work with hundreds of clients, I got to see the inner workings of their business, and it kind of led me to where I wanted to go next.
So you said you're good at talking to people and being more extroverted, approaching people. Were you always good at that, or was that something that you had to work on over time?
And that's why I kind of paused as I was saying it. I don't think I was always good at it.
How did you get better at it?
The more you do it. I was always comfortable and like willing to talk to people in that sense, but not as much as I am now. Like now I'm a lot more, because now I've been turned down by thousands of people. I'm still here. I'm still alive, still standing. Like, and it gives me that, like, I've been turned down by thousands of people, but I've also been accepted or like have worked with or landed probably thousands of people as well. So it's just about, you get comfortable the more you do it. You understand that it's not the end of the world, and you just kind of keep going.